In 2020, the South Carolina Gamecock women's basketball team was the regular season SEC champions, tournament champions, and were the consensus #1 team in the nation and looked to be headed on their way to their second national championship. Unfortunately, COVID struck, and the Lady Gamecocks were unable to participate, or any of the teams in the NCAA tournament, and that year we had no champion. Coming into the 2021 season, the Gamecocks returned a lot of players off that team, were ranked very high, #1 in the nation, starting the season out, and had a very good season again, spending a lot of time being the top-ranked team in the country. They made it all the way to the Final Four, and in the Final Four game against Stanford, had some bad calls. A couple of bad calls went against them in the final seconds, missed a layup and missed a putback at the buzzer that would have put them in the championship game. With the heartbreak the Gamecocks faced after the Final Four, they dedicated themselves coming back into the 2021-22 season that they were going to do whatever it took to be national champions. Dawn Staley went out and recruited the #1 recruiting class in the country. She also picked up a transfer player from Syracuse, Camilla Cardoso, at 6'7", to boost the inside play and take some of the pressure off of Aaliyah Boston. And the Lady Gamecocks looked like they were set to be the team to beat in 21-22. Along with that, Dawn Staley went out and scheduled the absolute toughest schedule in the country. And the Gamecocks went on to win 14 games against top 20 teams that were ranked in the top 20. Some of their players looked to work. That Aaliyah Boston actually went during the summer, spent a week with Tim Duncan working on her inside play and what she could do to be a better player coming into this season. And a couple of other Gamecocks. Actually, Cardosa went and played in the Olympics for her country, and another one of the Gamecock players, Letitia Amir, played for Canada. So the Gamecock ladies were busy preparing for this upcoming year. South Carolina was determined this was going to be their year. They came into the preseason ranked #1 in the country and stayed that way for the entire season. Going into the Final Four, again, they had beaten already 2 teams that were in the Final Four. They had beaten Stanford earlier in the year. They had beaten UConn earlier in the year. So the only opponent they had not faced already was Louisville. South Carolina took care of business in the semifinal games, was able to advance on, setting up a showdown between 2 teams. A UConn team that had never lost in the championship game. They were 11-0, and a South Carolina team that had never lost in the finals that were 1-0. And again, this was going to be a battle of 2 classic coaches in this game. South Carolina was able to jump off to a quick start, got things rolling. South Carolina dominated the backboards, and again, the Gamecocks were able to withstand a couple of runs by UConn and came away with a 15-point victory in the national championship game by the score of 64-59. Destiny Henderson, their senior point guard, played one of her best games of her career, leading the Gamecocks in scoring, kept the team calm, ran the offense. Leah Boston, again with another double-double. She had her streak stopped a couple of games earlier, which I think may have taken a little bit of pressure off of her, where she was not having to worry about the fans cheering, getting her stats and stuff, and could just concentrate on playing basketball. But she played her typical good game, and the ladies from the University of South Carolina came away with the national championship. Dawn Staley said after the game that it was not a one-man team. She had 16 players on the team this year and felt like every one of them contributed. A lot of people don't realize this, that South Carolina actually has men students that are students at University of South Carolina that practice against the team every day in scrimmage to give them bigger, stronger bodies and all, and don't actually recognize the guys that have been behind the scenes practicing with the ladies all year long to make them better, and they will be getting a national championship ring too. So South Carolina will lose a couple of players. Victoria Saxon, who was like the mother to all the players, probably will move on. She's got another year's eligibility, but will probably move on, possibly even be a second-round draft choice in the WNBA. Destiny Henderson has one more year of eligibility she could use if she wants to, but she's projected to be a first-round pick in the WNBA. But South Carolina has got a lot of good players coming back, and they've got two exceptional players, McDonald's All-American, coming in, though. So don't be surprised if you see the Gamecock women back in the Final Four trying to make it 3 national championships. Again, South Carolina preseason is ranked number 1 in the country for next year. UConn ranked number 2. I know basketball season just ended for the women's programs, but it's going to be a heck of a ride again next year. Reporting for Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting, I am the coach, Dick Cox.